Right now, it is time to talk with Thorunn Kristjansdottir, Main Street Magazine on Robin Hood Radio. And we say good morning to Thorunn. Good morning, Thorunn.
Good morning. How are you?
I am absolutely fine. We're in that transition period where it's cold in the morning and nice during the day.
Indeed.
And it gives me a time to transfer my angst about, cold weather. I can still enjoy some of the warm weather, and it prepares my body in the morning for what's coming in the next month and a half, 2 months. But it definitely looks like fall out there now.
It does. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful weekend.
And the colors this year are not as vibrant because of the drought we had. But I'm really amazed that we've got the mix of colors that we have because of no rain for 2.5 months. And also the spongy moss. I mean, between those two things. But it does definitely look like fall out there. Well, October, and I guess this is the month you deal with looking back at your history month here.
Yeah, we made we've the last couple of years we've done a little bit more of that, and so this issue is kind of our history issue, where kind of I guess the majority of our articles focus on something historical in some fashion.
All right, and we kick off this with a writing by C.B. Wismar, who, by the way, you note in your comments, they are moving from the area, and this will be his last article. Daniel Chester French.
It will be. CB has been with us for many years and has been a great friend and writer for and contributor to the magazine. And so we're very sorry to see him go, but we're very excited for him and his wife Kathy on their next adventure. And so this, yes, indeed, his profile, which is on Daniel Chester French, who has obviously since passed, but so we give a little nod and profile on him to tie into our history issue. But until CB brought him to my attention, I actually had no idea about him, and that he lived in the area and the significance of his work.
It's one of the great things about our area. No matter how long you've lived here, unless you're one of the founding fathers or founding mothers of our area, there's always something new you can find out in the area. Always. Something about the history that connects you better to the area and to what it is, what it was, and what it can be. It really is. I guess everybody probably says this about their hometown community, but we really are blessed to live in an area where history was made during the American Revolution, where, if you go to Boston and you look at our beautiful ship, the wood for the sides came from here, the cannonballs that it shot came from here. I mean, it really is an amazing area, and the people who have inhabited here are also amazing. So it's a great article by CB. Not the prettiest picture in the world because it's a picture of a water tower, but as far as water tower goes, it's cool. You've got a story there, water everywhere, and I say it that way because, of course, there's a question mark.
There is. For this month's real estate article, Christine looked at water and how water impacts buying, selling, or exploring land, for possible purchase or development. So she walks us through what to ask, what to know. If you're building, is village water better, and water is survival. Those are her sub-headlines. So she kind of walks through the different aspects of it. She did talk about the drought that we had this summer, and so it was I found it to be quite interesting, actually, knowing a little bit about water, but thinking about this from this context was interesting.
Well, just look what's happening to our friends in the north in Housatonic, Massachusetts. The water company there does not have enough money to do what needs to be done. People have water that there's always warnings issued for. It's brown. They want the state to take it over. And then you have in our area where towns are hooked up to Aquarian, like Falls Village, Lakeville, Salisbury, and other towns, because it's so expensive. Sharon's got its own water company. They built that years ago to make the water better. If you want your community to grow nowadays, you need three things. You need clean water, you need internet service, and you need housing, affordable housing. Those are three very important things that all go together. Puff pastry.
Apple tarts.
Yeah, I just started baking over the past month or two, and I still have not. I have not gotten a great dough down yet. I mean, I can make pies and tarts and stuff right now, but I mean, people are very nice that taste it. They say, "Oh, this is very good for a beginner." It's not like cooking regular food. I'm sorry, baking is so much harder. And just looking at that apple tart, oh my gosh. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I will say that right before the article was due, Libby texted me in a panic and said, "It was a big failure. It didn't work. How much time do I have?" So whatever she and Carolina had made was a epic fail. And so they had to go back to the drawing board, and they came with this, which was, during apple season, obviously. So we have the bounty of them. But then she went to, I think what did she say? Phyllo puff pastry. So she, made it a little easier in that regard, but it's still beautiful and delicious. So, not to have everyone think that everything, works out perfectly. That they had they had a major disaster on their hands, but it just kind of adds to the story.
Well, it's true. You know how many tamales had to die before I got my recipe right, and they were actually tamales that people could eat. I mean, there was a lot of tamales that met their fate because it's touch and go. You learn as you go. You learn as you go, and that's what I've learned about. I originally wanted to learn how to bake because I wanted to bake an apple pie. That's one of the easiest things you can possibly do.
Well, in theory, right?
I'm still on step 3, and it's still it's still got a way to go. Well, anyways, that's a great article. And you've got another article, fall festivities. I mean, we had a busy weekend in our area yesterday. Last weekend, there's another busy weekend this weekend. Lots of different things going on, especially in the Hudson Valley.
It is super busy, and Regina looked into a little fraction of that with fall festivities, which is the name of her article, and she kind of went around the area from Averill Farm in Washington Depot through Millerton to Valatia, Red Hook, and Tivoli, and all the way out to Hudson, where she featured a number of farms and what they have going on, whether it's apple picking or pumpkins. Obviously, we're coming up on that, or there are a couple of corn mazes that are pretty exciting. So there's a lot to do and a lot of places that would be fun to visit with family and friends.
Well, it is that way. I mean, the reason I love fall, a lot of people like fall because of Dunkin' Donuts and pumpkin. I don't. I love fall because I love apple cider donuts. Mm-hmm. And this is the time where apple cider donuts are the best. You can get them year round, but they're just the best with the height of apples coming off the trees and everything. So, and there's so many different festivals, and there's so many different places where you can go pick your own apples and get apples and stuff. So, it's we live in a special area, as I said. Well, final story for this week. Looking at this, these people have to be one of the most busy historical societies around. No, I'm not kidding. There's something going on at least twice a month. I'm talking about the Roloff Jansen Historical Society, and you've got a story collecting local history.
They are indeed super busy, and they have done some terrific stuff. They just, I think by now, they just finished up a show that was phenomenal. We featured it earlier this year. But Leslie Doyle, the president of the Rojan Historical Society, actually wrote this for us about the Historical Society, giving a little background on it and some of the displays and what they do, and talking about some of the things that are in their permanent collection. But it's a very dedicated group, and they are phenomenal in what they put together for the area, for their exhibits, and just for history of the area and the people in general. So I thought it was a wonderful addition to the historical issue, but as well giving a recognition to a great group of people who have made a huge difference in that area.
Yeah, and I say that about them, but you look at the Northeast Historical Society, look at Sharon Historical Museum and Gallery, you look at the Salisbury Association. I mean, we are blessed with people that shepherd our heritage from generation to generation.
They're very dedicated, yeah.
And they mix it in with current events that go on in town. That's another thing that makes it so great. So it makes it much easier for people who are new to the area to understand what this area is about and what it was about. And they all, I'm telling you, we're just lucky around here with all the different historical societies. But every week I get press releases from Rojan. Every week with what they're doing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Those are just some of the stories that you'll find in Main Street Magazine this month. And, of course, there's plenty more which we can touch on in the coming weeks. Thorunn, once again, thanks for spending some of your Tuesday morning with us.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. We'll talk next week.
All right, take care. Thorunn Kristjansdottir, Main Street Magazine, here on Robin Hood Radio. Of course, you can find them on the web, mainstreetmag.com. That's their companion site to their magazine, which is available for free pickup throughout the tri-state region.